This is Hannibal here from The Hannibal TV on YouTube. The big news in, I guess you could call it wrestling this week, is Mickey Rourke, who was in The Wrestler, has raised over $100,000 on GoFundMe. That supposedly, according to the person that set it up, someone from his management team said that's supposed to help him out because he's been having issues paying rent. However, even though someone from his management team set that up, allegedly, he put out a video on Instagram a few days ago saying it was not legitimate, and he actually objects to having it out there and doesn't want to accept money. He wants nobody to donate anymore because he says he did not approve of this, he didn't understand it, and he wants people to get their money back. So in theory, good GoFundMe should be able to give people their money back. This was supposed to be because in December he was going to get evicted from his home, which apparently is $7,000 a month. He said in that Instagram post that $7,000 a month rent was up from about $5,000-ish a month. And he had issues with the landlords not fixing things and there being issues with the apartment. So he was indicating in the Instagram post that it may have been more of an issue that he did not pay the rent out of spite than not actually having the money to pay it. Because according to the Instagram post, the GoFundMe post, it's saying something different, as in, hey, he's going through a hard time, he needs money. He basically saying he'd rather end things for himself than beg people for money, and he has people that he could ask for money. The other weird thing is he's got an assistant. There's a lot of pictures of him and his assistant online that's, I don't know, they seem very close, but his assistant right now, according to pictures, is off on some exotic vacation right now by the looks of it. So I don't know if that assistant actually lives with him or not, but he's definitely denying needing fans' help for money. So if that is fraudulent, maybe someone should report it as a fraudulent page. Maybe he should just have it shut down, deal with GoFundMe itself, than having to go on and make these videos. Which apparently I've heard from a few people that whenever he does interviews and stuff, he needs like a $600 an hour makeup person to do his makeup. He still obviously dresses very fancy. He even dresses fancy in his GoFundMe denial video. He's got numerous dogs. So again, hopefully they can get those funds donated back if he's not going to accept them. He's been in over 90 movies, worked with top directors and top actors. So he's getting residuals on about 90 movies in theory as well. And he could do Comic Cons. He could do more acting jobs. There's other ways he can get money. He had a bit of a boxing career as well, if you want to call that a boxing career. Steve Austin did another interview recently. He wasn't very impressed with John Cena's heel turn. He said in this interview he was okay with the heel turn, but he thought it was a little late in his career to try and turn heel when everyone just wanted to see him as a baby face. So his comment on that would be, it was okay. He said he'd be open to wrestling again, and I do believe that at least for the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania in 2027, I believe that he probably will wrestle on that, in my opinion, for a couple of reasons. One, they could make him an offer that he can't refuse. And for another reason, this is just my opinion, but the last time he wrestled, it was advertised as he was going to have an interview. And I know his legal problems were like 20 years ago where he pleaded no contest to beating Deborah. I get it. He's kept himself, other than the next girlfriend he had after that, there were some issues with the adult content girlfriend, but then in more recent years, she's been all right. But he does have a controversial past. And I do believe, in my opinion, the reason they only advertised his last match going into it as an appearance was so if there was too much heat giving a guy who pleaded no contest to wife abuse a match on a WrestleMania, that they could have just dropped the interview and said, well, he's not going to have a match. It wouldn't have been a big deal. In Saudi Arabia, from what I understand, you're allowed to beat your wife. There's no such thing as spousal abuse to a woman there. So I don't see any of those issues coming up. And then on top of that, there's the money. So he could just go ahead and probably collect millions of dollars for a single match. And why not? Show he can still go, because all that was against Owen was really a brawl. I mean, wrestling's fake. You can work around injuries. There's lots of wrestlers that have wrestled a lot later in life than him, and there's stem cells and stuff, and he's probably in better shape now than he was at various points in his career. In AEW news, they released 3 people this week. I think their contracts ended. Matt Tavern is one of them. The other one, Mercedes Martinez, who I've got some matches of her up on this channel. Here's the interesting thing. I think she's only been under contract for about 3 years, but she's been wrestling in the company since 2019 and supposedly has only had, since 2019, about 9 matches under AEW. Since even before she was signed. So she did have a 3-year contract where you'd have to imagine she'd have been paid a lot of money from probably it would make sense that the 3 years would have been January 22 to January 26. That would be about 3 years. 2, 3, 4. Actually, that may have been a 4-year contract. But I'm just saying they really waste money, because to have someone wrestle 9 times since 2019 with a signed run starting in 2021, that's got to be they have to pay more by far for doing less than any company in the history of wrestling. So other than Matt Tavern, they also fired a manager, Alex Abrahante, who I've never even heard of. So these guys are just lucky. I'm surprised they haven't fired Matt Tavern's partner, Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett is a guy that's never been over at any point in his career and has somehow had jobs in major promotions for years. One of the most boring wrestlers in all of wrestling. Somehow he manages to keep a job. I don't know how or why. Sting's son is now wrestling for AEW, Steve Borden Jr. He's had 5 matches now. I mean, Sting's still under contract. There's no doubt they're going to try pushing Sting's son, because obviously it's Sting's son. They don't really have any superstars in AEW that are younger. Their biggest names are all old WWE guys other than MJF. So why not hire Steve Borden Jr.? See how he does. Someone says, why doesn't Mickey go on Cameo with Ric Flair? Well, Mickey could do cameos. And I'm sure he'd make a lot of money off of cameos, but he could get $100,000 for doing nothing from just GoFundMe alone. So why do it? If it really is unapproved, he didn't approve it. But his management is saying he did approve it. So keep in mind, this is a guy that's been nominated for an Oscar. So take what he says with a grain of salt if he's telling us that he didn't approve it and his management company is saying he did. He could be working us. I mean, he is a great actor. GoFundMe denial video. Yes, hit like, guys. Appreciate it. What does Mickey... Why doesn't go... Oh, sorry. I already put that up. He should. So many wasteful signings in AEW. Yeah, it's just... The sad part about it is there's so many people that could make more of a difference and don't get a chance and have actually paid their dues in wrestling, but they don't even get a chance, but they sign all. I'm not Martinez, she's good. I don't have any issues with her, but there's so many people that they have under contract that are not over at all and not even wrestling and are making money without paying any dues. That's the annoying part about AEW. When there's people out there that are actually good and could make a difference that for political reasons don't get a chance. Yeah, that was Mickey Rourke, who I guess from what I understand, according to some reports, goes both ways. Well, Thomas, I'm not that familiar with Tavern, but at least he got paid. Keep in mind, very few of these people making fortunes in AEW now would be anywhere but the indies if it wasn't for AEW. Swerve Strickland, for instance, $5 million a year supposedly. WWE didn't even want that guy. Even Triple H said, "Hey, why'd you pay him?" He made a comment when he heard about the $5 million in contract. He's like, "We weren't even offering this guy money. They didn't even keep him around NXT." So and to me, he's like a good mid carder, but I mean, he's been world champion now, and they have weird picks for world champions. Sting, well, it's Sting's son. I don't know. Every second generation guy has it easier to get in. AEW has a massive roster. How do they pay every wrestler? They're owned by a guy that has more money than both Vince McMahon and Ted Turner. But here's the interesting thing. Last week on Dynamite, they only got a 0.07. Collision is bombing too. Rampage was already canceled. They're getting brutal ratings, and they're getting overpaid right now by WBD, and WBD is going out of business. We don't even know if AEW will finish the contract with WBD. It depends how soon Netflix takes over because they're buying WBD. But I think they're going to have a hard time with the ratings that they're getting these days. Getting someone new to buy them with those ratings for the money that they're being paid now, because put it this way, they're getting supposedly $123 million a year from WBD to get lower ratings than NXT, that's only getting about 26 million from CW. So AEW is getting overpaid, and as far as like all the people they have on this bloated roster, and they keep hiring more, by the way. They hired a few girls I'd never heard of a couple weeks ago. It's like, it's better to use people every week and get them over than use people 9 times in a 4-year contract, because it's hard for fans to get behind someone when they see them like this week and then they don't see them again for 4 months. You need to have, like him or hate Vince Russo, his philosophy of trying to get everyone under contract on TV in some way every week. I do agree with that philosophy, because you lose so much momentum when you're off TV. Look at Roman Reigns even in WWE. How much momentum he has lost since losing to Cody Rhodes. He's not the star he was then. I'm not saying he's not one of their biggest stars. I think he makes like $14 million a year, but he doesn't have the same momentum. Yeah, AEW I would think is some type of tax write-off. What happened to Ring of Honor? Well, somehow they have more funding than ever, and they're least popular than ever.